Well, as it turns out, magnum torches do not do anything in the asteroid belt, other than provide light. I put a bunch down and stuff was still spawning all over the place, so I went through the massive pain that was to craft up a whole bunch of these mechanism glow panels and spread them all over not only what will become my base island, but also all over the future site of Infinity Fortress. As you can see, the light is starting to melt some of the ice, but I'm hoping that doesn't turn into a big deal. If it does, I can always put down some more lights. So, yeah, so basically the sites are all prepped. Now what I gotta do, and it's gonna take forever to get down there, is to start, I had my F7 on to figure out where I needed to place all these lights. I should turn that off so I get some frames back. So now what I gotta do is build myself a base of operations. So let's just do that here. We're just gonna chunk this all down using a much better tool for that job. Get it on level with where I dug these things on. Yeah, I wasn't sure if getting hit by one of those asteroids would cause problems. As you can see, I also moved my stuff down from there onto this asteroid. It's just, since this is where my base is going to be, it was more convenient to operate out of there while I was doing all this other stuff. So, yeah. And something weird happened when I took down, when I took down these things and put them back up, something freaked out with the teleporters, and it thinks that there's one that's there that isn't. I'm not really sure what that's all about, so hopefully that won't become a problem. We're gonna have to put this back down, probably right here. It won't matter once I get the structure built. So yeah. So yeah, asteroid belt a little bit more treacherous than I was expecting because the magnum torches aren't working, but again, old-fashioned lighting is probably going to keep things at bay. I'm probably going to have to shoot stuff off the, little one-off asteroids here and there, or at least, take them down with the pick like I have been doing. But that should be a problem. Alright, so now we're going to build our little base, and it's going to be very small, and not really much to write home about, but, yeah, can't really say much more than it's going to be kind of small and horrible. But I'm going to time lapse it for you guys just so you can kind of see what I'm building here, and then once we get the structure itself built, then we will move on to actually putting together the oxygen system, and then we'll pretty much be done on the asteroid belt until we come back. So I will just time lapse this for you, and you'll get to see me build it. Alrighty. Alright, so the build is mostly done. After the build, I went back and grabbed myself that resonant energy cell that I needed for finishing this up. So now we're going to work on getting the oxygen in here, and not too soon, or I guess not too late either, because I'm going to run into a problem with oxygen soon, although I do have another 2 full tanks, so I'm not actually doing too bad. So the first thing that we're going to need... Alright. Anyway, so the first thing I need to do is put this guy up here. And I need to set it up 1 above where I actually need it, because I'm going to need to run power both outside and inside the building. And then... oh, we'll just... there we go. Also need to grab this guy and put him right on top of that cell, which I'm hoping looks like it should be okay. So this goes here. Yep, filling up. Should be, well, that guy's already full because I filled him up. On base power first, just in case I had problems. Alright, so then we're going to bring our power down here and create a little bus like I am known for doing. I'm sure I'm known for doing it, right? When people talk about me, they're like, yeah, he's the guy who creates power buses. Yeah, I'm sure lots of people are saying that about me. Alright, so actually if I brought that down into the ground, I could save a little space, because I gotta do, that's something I gotta do anyway, so I'll just grab that out of there. Let's see, I'm gonna need 1, 2, 3. Slime sticks seemed like such a good idea at the time. And we're just going to ignore the fact that that looks terrible because I can see the floor. I may come back and make that a little more aesthetic later if I can be bothered. Which I may not be able to be bothered. Alright, so we'll just fill in this divot for now. Alright, so now we can put our stuff back. So, dialer. Transmitter next to the dialer, even though it can actually be further away if I want it to be. And receiver right there. Dial to taco base. That is good to go. Alright, so now we need to create oxygen. Let's go ahead and swap. While I'm talking about oxygen, let's go ahead and swap my tanks. Because I'm going to run into... why did I do it that way? That was dumb. We're going to run into oxygen problems soon, rather than later, unless I get this done. Alright, so at this point, now we need to take our power system down. And I might be able to do this inside my base here. I may not. We're gonna... oh, that's right. Nope, this is not how we're doing this. That is my bad. We're going outside the base to do this because I almost forgot what I was doing. So we'll fill this back in with a different colored rock, whatever. Crumble, crumble, crumble. Okay. And then cap that off. Alright, so now we actually have to go outside, and I had completely forgotten that I was going to do it this way. So we are going to grab this energy here. And, okay. So we're going to say the back is also output. Yep, and we're going to bring this outside and down the side here. Because I do not want this ruining the seal on my base. Because we are going to be digging down 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this might actually all fit inside the asteroid here. Because basically what we're doing is we're going to create an oxygen chamber. And I got to put my jetpack back on. There we go. And let's create 2 ways down. I can always fill it back in later. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so now I need to hollow out... what's this? Asteroid rock. I need to hollow out a 7x7 chamber here, or possibly bigger. So we're at 2. Where's my hammer? And I'm sorry, this is probably very, very dark. How's my gamma? Yeah, we're at full brightness, and this is still horribly, horribly dark. Oop. Okay, so let us hollow out a space. Alright, so our cavity is dug out, and I added some nice glow blocks around so we can kind of see what we're doing. So now what we got to do is put an oxygen collector in the center of this room, which is going to be this guy. Oxygen collector, and he's just going to go right on top of this pedestal. I don't know that I want him facing that way. I want this one facing probably this direction. And where is my wrench? My inventory is a disaster. There we go. Okay, so then this is going to be our oxygen out, so we want to dig straight up. Alright, come on, there we go. Okay, so now we're into our base, which that comes up in a little bit of an awkward position, but that should be too bad. And then here we put an oxygen sealer. Where's our sealer? Did I not? Oh, there it is. Sealed oxygen. Alrighty, so then we go back. We go back down. Oop. There we go. Okay, so now we need to connect that with glass tube, or oxygen pipe, as it were. There we go. And then this other side, we're going to connect up with that redstone cable, and we're just going to bring it. Let's bring it into the wall, actually, because we don't want it to be interfering too much with what we're doing here. Oop. There we go. So we'll just put the cabling like so. And then bring it up one, and then over. Ugly. Not the most attractive solution, I will certainly say that. But then again, this is the only reasonable way that I can figure out how to do this. Alright, so yeah. Oh, nope. Okay. So then that should still let me back down. Eventually. Probably want to take that off for now. Until it's time to come back out. Okay, so now what we do, jump into our backpack here, and we're going to take out all these leaf blocks and create a massive leaf conglomeration around this collector. And what that should do is make it start collecting oxygen once I get enough of them around here. And by my math, 7 by 7, which is the size I made this chamber, minus the piping, should be just big enough to get me the oxygen I need in order to run an actual oxygen sealer. So, once again, I'm not going to make you watch this. And there we have it. I have filled this entire chamber with leaves, and it was producing more than enough oxygen, so apparently I underestimated underestimated how much the leaves were going to produce, or my calculations were off in some other way. But that's fine. So now I have a giant leaf ball under my system pumping oxygen up to my base. So from here, I should be able to set up all of my oxygen gear. So what I'll do is create another bus. Haha, I used the word again. Over here. Oh wait, I can't do it that way because Galacticraft has its very specific sides for power input, which is one of the things about it that I find stupid. But, you know, that's just me projecting my frustration still with the whole Mars shenanigans. Alright, so we need first is our oxygen storage module. Now this does not need any power, luckily. So we'll just put him... Actually, let's figure out how these other two are going to work. So we have an oxygen sealer. That needs to be powered on one side and fed oxygen on the other. So I can just tuck him back in directly in the corner here and run power underneath him to whatever's down the line. So we'll just grab our... Oh, I have my cables already out. So we'll just like so. And then my oxygen compressor here is also oxygen from the side. And then... Okay. So the best way to do this is actually going to be to turn this 360 degrees over in this corner and run power up to it. So we'll just go, like, not 360, be 180. 360 would not be useful. Oh, I miscalculated by 1. Alright. So compressor can go here. Turn them twice. Alright, so then I can feed oxygen right in there. So then I can just go ahead and pull all this out and then get power to it. Boom. Alrighty. So then one iron block there. So then I want my oxygen storage module right there. And I want to turn it so that I think red is out on this guy. Yeah, I think that's how that works. So that we get some... No! No! Oh! Wasn't paying attention to where I was standing. Alright, we gotta head back to the base. Oh! A little bit of lag there. Back to the base. Hi, Kevin. Quick visit to Kevin later. And we're gonna finish this thing. Okay. Alright, oxygen piping. There and there. Let's make sure that that's getting oxygen. It is, so that is the right side. And a single bit of oxygen pipe there. Sealer is powered. Area too big, unsealed, check pending. Sealed. Good. And then it should also have gotten a full thing of oxygen. Check pending. Check starting, sealed. Alrighty. So we have finally got an oxygen system that will actually seal, and it produces enough oxygen that it is not gonna become oxygen starved and shut down on us. That was a bit of a fiasco, but I am glad it worked. So we now have our fully oxygen sealed, I guess, what do you call this? Outpost. So at this point we need to prep that site, which I'm going to do completely off camera because that's a big job and it's mostly just me widening in certain areas and putting down decorative blocks just to get a platform that is essentially 52 by 52. That you don't need to see. I will show you what that is on the other side. So at this point I still have a lot of time to record, but not enough time to do that bit. So let's just make sure our oxygen seal here is going to work. It is. Awesome. I may put some little bit of ladder in there. Excellent. So this is gonna work beautifully, I think. Let's check our oxygen seal, check pending. Oh, that's so good. And so I should be able to just pop these off and be perfectly fine in here, and I can just go ahead and toss them in the compressor and they will fill up. But I won't do that. I won't do that right now. So we have a little sealed base, our little outpost, which will eventually house also our AE2 quantum gate once that's moved. But for now, we're going to go and tackle a little bit of the AE2 stuff that I need to build before starting the big AE2 build. I'm going to show you what the start of that's going to look like so that I can also do it off camera once I'm prepping the asteroid, since we do have all the time in the world to teleport to record right now. Alright, so first things first, I'm going to clean up my inventory. I won't make you watch that. Alright, so the last thing we're going to do today is take care of these first two things on our spatial I/O board here, and then build one of the pylons to the design that it's going to need to be, and then we're going to cut it out for the day. That way I can show you, basically I'm going to be making about 100 of those pylons, so I'll show you building one of them. It's not going to be any different after the first one, so yeah. So what we're going to do is start with a spatial I/O port. Spatial. The spatial I/O port is basically the thing that you chunk your storage cell into in order to do your capture. And that's just an MEIO port, an engineering processor, and some bits. I/O port is drives and stuff, which I should have. I don't. I did some prep work, but apparently not enough. Alright, so we're going to need two of those. I/O port. There we go. And then we should be able to turn that into a spatial. Yeah, okay, so now we've got the spatial port. That is beautiful. That will be what we're using to capture the system. The next thing we need to do is make a 128 spatial component. And to do that, we're going to need to start with, I believe, 9 2 to the third spatial components. Let's just double check that. Nope, I'm actually going to need 16. 16? Yeah, I'm going to need 16 of them. Okay, so we're going to need 16 of them, but we're going to need 4 times that many Fluix pearls. So hopefully we've got enough of those, but probably not. It's actually going to be easier, I think, to just program in a Fluix pearl recipe. Oh, that's still up from when I was doing that last time. So Fluix pearl. Flux pearl. Fluix pearl. So we'll just program this guy on in there. That way we don't have to worry about having enough of that stuff. I might, but I might not. So let's see if we do. Fluix pearl. Because I'm going to need a full stack of these. I had enough for 25, which is not nearly enough. So we're going to have to program this in. So we need a molecular assembler. Do not have any free space. Do I have something that's kind of useless in one of these? Not going to need any more of these encoders, or these, whatever they are, crafting units. So we'll just put that in there, and then we'll just craft up a bunch of these Fluix pearls. Alright, Fluix pearls are all done, so it is now time to make our components. So we need 16 of these 2 to the 3rd ones. So I don't want to accidentally shift-click these, because I will use up my engineering processors, and I do not have enough of them. Alright, so then we're going to need 4 of these 16s. 2, 3, 4. Good. And then that should make this 128. Beautiful. That's my crafting unit pattern, which, don't need. Okay, and then we got to put that guy into a cell, which is like so. Bamf. Alright, so now we have our storage cell that's going to hold the fortress while we transport it from the deep dark to the asteroid belt. Alright, so that was the first 2 things off this list. Now the next thing I'm going to do is show you what a pylon looks like. I'm not going to hook them up, but I'm going to show you what it looks like. Because I'm going to have to build a lot of these, and once they're built, then I'll hook them all up for you. Alright, so, spatial pylon. Just grab a stack of these. I should not need a full stack. And these 2 things are going to go in my little chest. As I probably won't put these in until the very end, because they... Well, at least this thing is expensive enough to make me nervous just carrying around. So let us head to the deep dark. Oh, speaking of deep dark, I'm going to need that helmet. Helmut Kohl. Dark helmet Kohl. Alright, and make sure that we dial ourselves to the deep dark and not the asteroid belt. Alright, so here we are on location in the deep dark. Drinking apple juice and having a good time. Turn that... Oof. Alright, turn that on, and then we need to get basically these spatial pylons. I can still hear stuff. We need to get them outside all dimensions of our fortress. So here we're going to need to be putting it at 5481. 5481 by... I think this is pretty much all the way through. 5481 by 11... Oh, by 11481. Huh. Funny how that worked out. Okay, so this is going to be the location of our first pylon. Now, the important thing about the pylons is that they have to go... I dug that in the wrong spot. It's got to go here. They have to go outside your structure in all directions. Now, the nice thing about these structures is that if we dig up here, you see that they're just sitting right on top. They don't go down any. So that means our first block for the pylon needs to go there, because this has to be above the lowest block of the pylon. By the same token, we now need to build this up above the level of our fortress, which should be... Actually, let's actually go figure out what that is. So the torches are actually one up above where our highest block is, and we want to bring the torches along with. So this is going to be 109 is going to be the highest block, so we're going to need to go up to 110 to make sure that our pylon is tall enough. Ooh, too fast. Come on. 109, 110. Let's just throw one more in for just to make sure that we've got it tall enough. So, now the important thing here is that we need to know exactly how tall this pylon is, because if we don't know exactly how tall it is and the exact dimensions of the pylon space that I build here, it will be impossible to deploy this thing, because they have to be the deployment zone has to be the same size as the capture zone. So what I'll be doing is I will be very carefully documenting all these things. Now, luckily, since we started with a full stack, we know that this pylon is exactly 30 blocks tall, which is handy, which is something I'm going to go ahead and just write down right now. So let me grab a pen. Oh, shoot. That's the problem I was saying. So, looks like I'm going to be able to build these pylons. So they're going to be 30 tall. 30 tall. So it looks like I'm going to be able to build these pylons and then get back down to a place that's light without any problem whatsoever. Oh, hello. And let's just make sure that that is indeed in the right spot. It is there. It's good there too. So then what I will be doing is building a pylon exactly like this every other block all the way around. Actually, I think I only have to do it on 3 sides. Once I get it on 3 sides, what I'm going to do is hook it all up and see. In preliminary testing, 3 sides was enough. I think my efficiency was at 90% with 3 sides, but we're going to have to find that out later. But yeah, so that's basically, I got to do that about, I have to do it at least 75 times, if not 100 times. So I'm not going to make you watch that. And then I got to hook it all up to the ME system and do the capture. But I think, I'm going to back up here so I'm not attacked by zombies. I think that's going to do it for today. We got a lot done. We are all the way on to board 5. Now it's basically just me doing a lot of work. Building out that asteroid so that it's big enough to take the fortress. Building the first pylon set so that it's ready to be hooked up to this subnetwork. And possibly then moving that that big energy cell over if it doesn't work across the gate. I really hope it will reach across the gate, but it's not looking so good. And then we're going to be able to do that capture. So a lot of work for me to do off camera, but for today, I think we're done. Thanks for watching. I hope you've been enjoying yourselves. I've been enjoying myself a lot. This has been a bit of a learning experience because I've never done anything of quite this scale before. But if you're not having a good time, I hope you're at least learning something. And if not, well, I hope the rest of your day goes well. But I've been Taco Mage, and I will catch you next time. Later.